Welcome back to JB Reviews. We got some good news last week, didn't we? Some real good news. And all the far left libbies are racing to the finish line because they know that their time is short. So we gotta talk about this because I just saw this a couple days ago and they're in full-fledged. Check this out.
Well, new regulations on California emissions could actually lead to higher gas prices here in Nevada.
The state's Air Resources Board voting to move forward with the controversial plan tonight. It's meant to reduce planet warming emission, but drivers here at home don't think it should cost them.
8 News Now anchor Sasha Loftus joins us tonight with more.
Madam Chair, the motion passes.
A move made a state over that could mean higher prices here at home.
As a driver, it would keep my gas tank from being full.
On Friday, the California Air Resources Board voted to pass stricter state regulations to reduce fuel emissions while also funding electric car charging stations.
Working families in our inland region, many of whom lack access to reliable alternatives to driving, are deserving of more state resources to facilitate their transportation needs.
The plan called a win for the state's climate goals, but could cause a hiccup here in Las Vegas.
And I hate that us being like the neighboring states, like everything they do always affects us because we get a lot of stuff from them.
Since 90% of Nevada's gas supply comes from California, higher refinery costs could push our prices up by 47 to 65 cents per gallon starting in 2025.
Staff's proposal that's in front of the board today changes that dynamic.
Drivers in southern Nevada say they can't knock the reasons behind the change, but don't know if they can handle another hike, a cost that trickles down to all aspects of life that rely on transportation.
Now that vote passed 12-2. It's also set to phase out incentives for capturing methane emissions from California dairy farms to turn into fuel, which could encourage farmers to leave the state.
When I listened to that video, I was more confused by what they're trying to do. They say they want to have stricter emissions, and I'm pretty sure there's no plan on what they want to do. Now, I can bet you stricter emissions means trucks are going to be affected the most. Any truck you're looking at is going to be affected by that. I mean, what more can they possibly do? Didn't they say that catalytic converters were going to help save the planet? Didn't they say that EGR and SCR and DPF and all the other crap on these trucks, didn't those things, show that they're going to help the environment? So how can you continue to add more emission crap if the stuff you said was already better? I mean, these trucks have DEF. Let's go take a look. Let's take a look. So right here, they have diesel exhaust fluid. Okay, they added this back in 2012. I think it became like a standard that they had to follow or something. I can't remember, but it's somewhere in that time frame they wanted to add emission control. And the DEF, which is a diesel exhaust fluid, is supposed to go through and mix in with the exhaust of the diesel, and it comes out as some type of science project that makes it like clean for the environment. So that's great. We've all decided to continue to buy trucks despite the BS, right? So what they're telling you is the stuff on our trucks don't matter.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
Now, obviously, this is going to affect people in Nevada because they buy their fuel from California. But this is also going to affect Californians, and most likely it's going to get rolled out for the rest of the country too. A lot of the stupid foolishness starts in California, and I don't understand this. I'm going to show you guys a quick clip of some people talking about this in the state of California, and then we'll jump back into the video.
So get ready to possibly pay substantially more at the pump. A state regulator voted just yesterday in favor of stricter clean air standards to cut carbon emissions. But one study shows that plan could increase gas prices by some 47 cents.
Those concerns are fueled by a vote by the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, approving stricter clean air standards. The board wants to lower carbon emissions faster to reach Governor Newsom's goal of cutting emissions in half by 2030. According to a study from CARB last year, changes to the state's low-carbon fuel standard may increase costs for petroleum refineries, which could lead to higher gas prices. Some critics say by as much as 47 cents per gallon by 2025. University of San Diego economics professor Alan Jin says he has mixed feelings by the move. He says while cutting carbon emissions is important, the most vulnerable people in society often bear the brunt of the situation.
The impact of climate has affected inflation. So yeah, climate is having an impact on the economy. The thing that I worry about is that if you have this increase in the price of gas, it's going to negatively impact particularly people at the lower end of the income distribution. So again, if money is taken out of people's hands, what's going to happen then is that they'll cut back on their spending, and that could have negative impacts as far as California's economy is concerned.
And though CARB's study says prices could jump, they say models can't predict future prices. Now, some board members argue the changes were necessary to maintain California's climate leadership in the wake of Donald Trump's presidential victory. The president-elect has pledged to reverse California's ability to set its own vehicle emission rules like he did during his first term.
Everything that you're seeing happen in these far left states is for EVs. This is a Ford Lightning. This truck is about $80,000, $79,590. This is a Lariat, okay? If you were to look at a gas-powered one with the twin-panel moonroof and a few other options, this truck is probably maybe 10, 15 grand more. But here's the problem with EVs for me. I would never, ever buy one. I would only lease this truck because the values are everywhere. And it's really the manufacturer's fault. When they released these EVs, not just Ford, a lot of them, they kept increasing the prices during the pandemic. And the prices got so out of whack that people lost interest in buying them. Now, obviously, if you have a home and you have a garage, then you can install a charger there and you will benefit from these expensive trucks. But not everyone has a house and not everyone has a garage. So if you live in an apartment complex and you don't have a place close by that you can just park your truck and make sure it's topped off for the next day, that means you're going to be sitting places to get this truck charged up. So the convenience aspect is not there, the value aspect, because we don't really know what these trucks are going to be worth. I mean, 5-10 years from now, are EVs, or even, are they going to be, you know, something that you can continue to drive, or you're going to have to replace that battery pack, right? These are the things that you have to understand and consider. And I feel as though California does not understand the cost of living. That state alone is already super expensive. And they're already trying to shove down your throat a truck that's going to cost 10 to 20 grand more, you know, for you to buy. And it's just not convenient for some people. Like for me, I don't see the value in EVs right now. They just don't make sense for me. I'm always going to own a diesel powered truck or gas powered truck. And I don't understand how people can't see what's really happening here. I don't understand. I had to jump inside the truck because there's like a lot of stuff flying outside. But yes, right now, a lot of people are still buying internal combustion engines over EVs. There was a nice spike this year on EVs, but it's not sustainable because in a lot of cases you do have people who want to support EVs. There are people who do like the idea of driving a vehicle down the road and not be burning fuel. And that's good. I respect people who want to do that. But if you can't see what's really happening, they're basically forcing people to buy EVs. Like, it's very clear that's what they want you to do. Because why would fuel prices have to go up for stricter emissions? One has nothing to do with the other. I don't understand how that correlation works. I don't understand how people aren't able to see this for what it is. It seems like they're trying to control what you can buy very clearly. And don't take my word for it. Listen to what they say. By 2030, 2035, 2040, it changes because these people obviously don't have a plan, nor do they know how to execute their plan without other people having to do it for them. They want to basically end the sale of internal combustion engines or make it illegal to buy them. They say the quiet part out loud and people still can't hear them. Let's talk about homeless people for a second. I think a lot of times we neglect what we can see. I can't see global warming. I just can't. I don't know what it feels like. I just have to believe that it's out there. So if that's the case, let's go with what we can see. Homeless people. Homeless people create a lot of trash on the streets, polluting the cities. All your blue states and blue cities, because typically the city areas, even here in Salt Lake City, is a blue city, sadly. And the people that live there, it's just trashy. Always smells. But for some weird reason, it's just been like that. I've been to Philadelphia, New York. I've been to San Francisco in California. Been to Portland. Oh my gosh. And I just can't ever understand why they attack diesels, right? Because I'm pretty sure that's where all these stricter emissions are going to come down on anyways. But they won't fix the problem that we can clearly see. How about you come back to emissions after you figured out all these other environmental issues that are plaguing our country right now? But it's not about that. And you guys know that. It's about control. I can't say what I want to say on this camera because I might get, reported for disinformation again. But I'll put some clips at the end of this video. You and I don't have to agree. I think that a lot of people are very shocked by the results of this last election, and I don't know why. I think a lot of people have to understand something. You can have a thought process and a belief, and you could have a lot of people join with you under that thought process and belief system. But if you're alone in that thought process and belief system, odds are what you're doing does not benefit the masses. This is why Trump won this election. It's not a shocker. I knew he was going to win. I was just afraid that they were going to cheat. I think that these mandates are absolutely stupid. And you heard what that guy said on the news, that Donald Trump was fighting against all these mandates for this emission stuff because it's counterproductive. It's going to hurt the lower class citizens in this country. Fuel prices are already high. People already can't afford groceries. So now you want to add more stricter emissions in the name of the environment when there's other things you can do to help the environment? I know I'm not alone here, but it is what it is because people are going to believe what they want to believe. And that's it. People want to say that this is disinformation, that I'm looking at it as a bias, party because I'm attacking the Democrats. Again, it happens in democratic states and cities. How else can we say this? So that's all I got. I want to hear your thoughts. And as I said, I'll put some clips at the end. This is what they're trying to do to men.
I'm crying. My sadness is over. My anger has set in. I am a very petty person, and I am very proud of that. Love it about myself, actually. And so I say this in the most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you are my family. I don't care if you're my friend. You can literally go f*** yourself if you voted for Donald Trump.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you.
Okay, so since Trump won the election, we're cooked. Yup. I'm gonna be leaving the US and I'm gonna be moving to Hawaii. So we'll see how it goes. And I'll update you guys.
That's not okay. This is not okay. This simply will not do. And this is not okay. And I'm not good with this.